Hi everybody, this is a special reading for the Sagittarius full moon in June. When does it fall actually, the date? It actually officially, the full moon in Sagittarius is in the United Kingdom and on the continent, the European continent. It is at 9:30 in the morning on the 17th. I'm doing this reading on the 16th of June. I've had a great look at the full moon. It kind of, sometimes, you look out the window and suddenly the full moon is there. I almost forgot. So it's practically the full moon now. And it's gorgeous, clear night. I feel personally quite a strong connection with the moon over the past year. That's really developed. So I felt really drawn to doing this reading. Well, actually, circumstance led me here. I was meant to do a reading for somebody else and they cancelled, changed their appointment time. So I had everything set up. So sometimes that's how, that's how intuition works. Synchronicities just lead us to an event, a situation, a reading when we didn't plan it. So you'll probably notice that there will be other tarot YouTube readers who suddenly are there or suddenly aren't. So it tends to be that, and very often it's women who are tarot readers, intuitives, empaths, psychics, work in a slightly different rhythm. Not always, but some of us, we have a slightly different way of doing things. So I didn't plan this, but here we are, and it feels right. This is a different kind of the reading from the monthly readings I do for the star signs. This is a reading that could be for someone specific or a number of you. I'll give it a title so people can see if they're attracted to it. But it's also, it's quite a big reading, so it's also something that might hold teachings of a bigger kind. I'll try to keep it quite archetypal so that there should be something of inspiration in here for anybody. And it is based around the energy of this particular full moon. And what's really astounded me is that I have in this reading the moon, and as well as the star, as well as the Wheel of Fortune, as well as the sun. It's an extraordinary reading for whoever is listening to this, for whoever is this reading will speak to. It's truly one of the most extraordinary readings I've ever done. So let me tell you what's extraordinary about it. I've based it around the Celtic cross, by the way, the Celtic cross spread, but kind of added cards to it as I've gone. So often the spreads start off like a skeleton and they kind of get added to. So, and then we kind of use that as a springboard for our intuitive insight to come in. So, what's really lovely about this is the past card, which often it can be something difficult. Something difficult often leads people to reading. So it's normal that something that tells us about a past, something that brought the person to the reading can be difficult. But in this case, we've got the 10 of Cups. Oh, by the way, I just want to say to you that this is not the Prisma deck that I normally use. It is the Thoth deck, an old school. We're going old school. For full moon, we're going old school. So you'll see the images are different, and also the meanings are slightly different for these cards. So past. Well, future and past. So in some people believe that there is no future and past, that it's all kind of interconnected and one and the same. However, we have a future situation, which was the Ten of Cups. So what I'm seeing here is, and supporting the Ten of Cups, is the Six of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. So an experience of connection, of flow, of love, of relationship, of success, and something also moving fast, something that involved communication, just so beautifully balanced that the energy of this future, this part, sorry, I keep saying future, well, again, that's a reflection of what's coming up, because believe it or not, it even gets better. But this Ten of Cups, this situation, this sense of being in touch with the self, being filled up in flow, family, connectivity, relational, that's really given one a feeling of, I mean, I guess the thing is with the Success card, the Six of Pentacles Success card, which is a very strong energy in the Thoth deck, very strong, very, very good energy, very positive energy. With this, to me anyway, sorry, I don't want to make sweeping statements, other readers may not feel that, but for me, I feel that. So with this, it feels like there was a situation, something that you had success in. Now, I'm going to take us very quickly to the what's happening under the surface, the inner world, the unconscious, and we've got the Nine of Swords. So what I'm thinking is, the point of this reading is that there has been, and let's face it, there always has been, difficult things happened somewhere in our past. And I'm feeling that with this inside clarified by the Hermit, there has been a deep, deep, deep inner look at one's own self-defeating thought processes, attitudes, the way that you sabotage yourself. This is a card in this deck, particularly of self-sabotage. The thoughts that you're telling yourself, the punishing, guilt trips, self-blame, self-torture, guilt. And I feel like, you know, these are both nines. So there's a real connection between these cards here, the Hermit and this Nine of Swords. What we're looking at is somebody who has really gone deep within to examine, to look at what they are doing within themselves that destroys things in their life, that destroys them in their life, sabotages them. And now this is really important. Follow the other two clarifiers for that are the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. So it just feels like, you know, there is a sense of, look, I need to build something here. I need to build something, and I need it to be stable. There is nothing more stable than having a Three of Pentacles in the inner position, because with the inner stability, moving into an inner completion and a readiness, and stability. I mean, this is the Four of Wands. So we're looking at something very stable, very balanced. There has been here a deep search within to bring into consciousness and awareness, shine a light on these self-defeating thoughts. Now that is deep, hard work. And with the Ten of Cups as the kind of future, the past influence, sorry, I keep doing that, the past influence, we've really got that, I'm seeing that inner work had really led somebody to this. And that's what happens. You know, sometimes we think we're always looking outside to other people for our own completion, our own happiness, our own joy, our own flow of love and light. But in this case, what I'm seeing is that somebody either has looked in or is going to look in within the self and realize that the person who is been destroying their light, destroying their abundance, destroying whatever it is, their productivity, their growth, was them. And that, not from a place of self-blame, but really from a place of necessity to figure something out. And at the heart of this reading, we've got the Prince of Swords. Now, this Prince of Swords is in the Thoth deck. This is the Aleister Crowley, and the woman who drew these pictures. Very important to mention her. I cannot remember her name. So I can't remember her name, and that's really important because it's really important to one of the women who co-created these decks, because so often it's the guys' names that... Anyway, I will try and write that down somewhere and get that out to everybody. But so what I'm seeing here, sorry, I can see little messages flipping up on my phone. I don't want them to come in right now. So Prince of Swords in this deck is really quite an incredible card, because this, at the heart of the reading, is somebody who is utilizing all of their mental power. And I say power very strongly because there's so much power in this reading. I've got the Sun, I've got the Ace of Wands, I've got the Two of Wands. So much power in this reading. This person, this Prince of Swords, forget male and female, just forget that. This could be anybody. Somebody here is really taking a hold of these thoughts and pulling them back in and cutting them off, really looking at all the self-defeating thoughts. And just like, I don't want to go over and over the same things, but this is what I'm seeing repeated here with this card. It's such a beautiful, perfect echo of what I see happening internally in this particular person. And this is so wonderful because this is what's necessary. But I need to say this thing that keeps coming to me. Sometimes when we've had a shit time of it, or when we've been through a difficult process in our lives, we really need a taste of something wonderful to lift, to give us hope again. And I've got the Star card in this reading. She's here. Belief in wonder. You know, an idea that you had for something, that just you thought, yeah, that's going to be wonderful, but it's never going to happen. What I'm seeing in this reading is this dream that you wanted to make come true. And I don't see it necessarily as a relationship, but of course these readings can go in any direction for anybody, and this could apply to any situation that you believe in, any dream and desire. It's so perfect for Sagittarius. By the way, we've got the Sagittarius card in here too. But what I want to say is there is this understanding in this reading, and it's so wonderful. Now I'm feeling kind of opening up of my my chest, my heart chakra maybe. I'm really feeling this so strongly. I just feel like, wow, somebody went through some really difficult stuff and they have really been doing their work. Now I'm starting to feel emotional. Work on themselves. Now if you're watching this and thinking that's not me, what I want to tell you is that could be you. Because this could be anybody. Because what this reading is telling us, whoever is being channeled, whatever divine forces are being channeled here, and I really believe it's connected to the Sagittarius full moon, I really feel like this is a message for everybody. This is a primal profound message for anybody who has suffered. That really and truly, you can get through this, but it's true that you need to, when you've been through difficult things, when you've lost hope, when hope has been lost, we sometimes need to nurture positive experiences in our lives. And that's really what I'm seeing here with these 3 cards together from it, with the past influence. We've got 3 very positive cards. We've got the 10 of Cups. Look, this even says success at the bottom. The 6 of Pentacles. Swiftness. Sorry, that's my dog scraping his way out of the room. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just rest those there. I want you to have a look at those while I shut the door. By the way, this is not my night dress. This is actually a dress, okay? I can already hear people saying, is she doing this reading in a night dress? No, this is actually a day dress, which I absolutely love. I know I'm weird. It's just a black sack, really, but I love it. So these positive aspects. So this is really somebody with the 6 of Pentacles who has worked earth energy, material reality, embodied, somebody who has chosen to embody and work at something, and it could have been anything. And that's the message now I'm getting so strongly. Whoa, it's just flooding in. It could be anything. It could be anything in your life. Anything. It could be, I don't know, cleaning your table. Maybe you've got a table in your house and you just make sure every single day you put love and energy and you work at making that table beautiful. You set the flowers on it every day, and everything else might be a mess in your life, but that one table you are going to work at and you're going to feel love for. So it's about tapping into the feelings in your life, anything in your life, and this is at any dire, difficult time in your life. What can you find in your life that feels good? And it could be something small. I know at a very difficult time in my life, I'd been doing tarot cards for years. But I decided to buy a new deck because it was something I loved doing. And I bought that one new deck, a modern deck, like an indie deck. And it opened up a whole new world in the tarot. It was something I loved. It was something I loved, I felt in love with. And it doesn't have to be a person. And if you're a woman, it doesn't have to be a man. If you're a man, it doesn't have to be a woman. If you're a woman who loves women, it doesn't have to be a woman. If you're a man who loves men, it doesn't have to be a man. It doesn't have to be your lover. This is about connecting with a love that you have for something that is yours. Something that isn't going to go away when a person leaves or when you leave a person. That's the greatest love. That's the greatest love. And once you connect with that thing, things can start to move. And then you start to see, let's think about the table. With your beautiful table that you're setting up every day, you start to realize, I'm actually really enjoying doing the flowers. I never thought about that. Maybe because it feels good, because it fills me with love. Like I'm feeling love when I'm doing this, and I have no idea why. It's random. It makes no sense to my logical brain. But I do it. I go for it. I go and find a flower arranging course. And I just feel like, wow, I'm just in the right place, and things just start to move. And you start to feel success. And it's not necessarily that you're making money. It's not necessarily that you're out in the world doing, it's the beginning of something. Balance with the traditional Rider and Waite, with the Rider and Waite deck. 6 of Pentacles is balance, give and take. In this we see balance, circular. We see balance coming back in. And then things can start to move quickly, swiftly, with the Eight of Wands. Until we've got, wow, this feeling of love in our lives, and we didn't even know where it came from, because it maybe didn't come from the place we thought, maybe it didn't come from the place we expected. And as that starts to flow in, you start to get a taste again of, oh my God, something's feeling good in my life again. You know, this is really special. But then we start to feel blocks, because as soon as something good starts to come in, the old patterns start to creep up in upon us, right? We all know that feeling, oh my God, it's getting good again, bang. You start to feel shit. You start to tell yourself, I'm actually no good at this. You know, you're doing well with your flower arranging or whatever it is. And then you start to think, no, shit, actually, I'm no good at this. Look, I got that wrong. I made that mistake. Sometimes it can come out as perfectionism. And this is someone who said, look, this means too much, because I know what it is to feel like I have nothing. And I am not going back there. Now that I am feeling this great thing in my life, I'm feeling connected to something again, I am going to do whatever it takes. So I am going to take a look at these difficult thoughts that are going around my head right now, because I will not let them take over. So I'm going to look at them. And sometimes it's simply, with the Hermit, I withdraw my projections from the other people in my life. I come into myself. I stop looking out and saying, this was their fault. It's because the teacher's really shit. She didn't teach me how to do that, put that flower in the right place properly. It's her fault. Instead of doing that, I'm looking in at me. I'm looking in at me. And I keep with 9 swords and not the Hermit, which is number 9. I might have to keep coming back to this. This is a big energy. The Hermit is a profound energy. It's a major arcana. You know, this is a blessing. But when you're doing it, it doesn't feel like a blessing. When you're doing it, when you're looking at all those horrible thoughts and you are sitting with how they make you feel, it's not easy. But you keep on doing it every time. One of those 9 thoughts, 9 traumas, 9 bad memories, 9 bad relationships. Every time one of those 9 men who fucked you over comes into your head, you don't blame them. You look in at you. And you just shine a light on every one of those thoughts. Sometimes it's just about shining the light on the thought. Sometimes it's not necessarily about even doing anything with it. And you know, that's what the 10 of Cups also in this deck is saying. It's saying that sometimes love just flows in, it just flows, it just keeps moving, it keeps flowing, and you don't have to do anything. When you've got 10 of Cups energy, it's just moving on its own. It has its own momentum. 8 of Wands, momentum. It has its own momentum. So you're in that space so you can let it flow. You don't necessarily have to, be analysing. No, what the Prince of Swords is doing, he's not sitting there looking at the thoughts, analysing. He is literally, the light is being shone upon them. And as that happens, another moment of negative thinking is cut away. And now what I've done accidentally, but we trust the accidents. This is the intuitive way. I'm not saying you need to be intuitive every second of your life. You need all the different parts of function, but the intuition is the one of the parts of our being that in our culture is, the Western culture is cut off from us. But what I've done intuitively is put the Hermit at the centre of the reading and the Prince of Swords in the unconscious position. And that's beautiful, because here next to, and this is supporting the Prince of Swords, we've got the 8 of Pentacles, which in this deck is the card of something that is blossoming within us. Now the 10 of, that was sitting in the beginning very close to the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups in this deck is based around here. We've got the symbol underneath the cups, symbol of the tree of life, fountain of everything, the tree of life, sitting next to this. These are such strong cards together. Now in this deck, this is saying that something is growing. Something is budding here. It's budding because you've been doing your pruning. Prince of Swords, he's been pruning. For things to grow, we need to cut something back. We've got a Sagittarius full moon right now. And the full moons are really about release. The new moons are about bringing in the new things, planting the seeds of manifestation of what you want to manifest. And the full moons are generally, I don't want to make any blanket statements because really you can do what you want whenever. I've often planted seeds on a full moon because I've just in that moment wanted to manifest something. But generally what we would say is when it's the full moon, we release. That's exactly what the Prince of Swords is doing. He is cutting away, he is releasing what no longer serves. And in doing that, this mental and energetic pruning, we have this growth, this inner growth that you can feel inside of yourself. You can feel this growing in your body, in your psyche, in your energy field, because it's a Pentacles. It's something that's experienced. It's something that's experienced, and this is something with solid foundations. We've got the 3 of Pentacles beneath this, and we've got the 4 of Wands beneath this. These two cards together couldn't be more stable. And these are underneath this tree growing up next to this 10 of Cups, which is also the tree of life. So we have got something at the center of this reading that is growing, that wants to grow, but it can only grow when this Prince of Swords has done his work, when the Hermit has shone the light of consciousness upon those self-defeating, sabotaging thoughts and cycles of behavior that keep us in a loop of negativity. But in this reading, those thoughts are being conquered. And we see at the top here, we've got the Ace of Wands. And at the base of the first round of this reading was the 2 of Wands, dominion. This is power. This is primal energy, energetic power. In this deck, the Ace of Wands is the most powerful and the second most powerful energetic card in the whole deck. And the next one is the Sun, and that is sitting right by this card. This reading is full of power, magnetic, glowing, abundant power. This full moon for somebody, for some of us, for all of us, has the potential to be a truly powerful, manifesting forceful effect upon our lives when we're able to face what we need to release. So the future influence, the immediate future, is the Sun. It's the Sun, illumination, connecting with your pure light, your pure energy. It's masculine energy in some decks, force driving us forward, illuminating us from within and from without, outside of us. Clarifying that, I've got the 3 of Cups, which in this deck is abundance, is abundance. Now, because we've got the 10 of Cups before this, what I feel like is there's in the future we've got this abundance of connectivity and love, and this feeling of great love and flow for something. But here in the future, it's possible that a light is being shed upon what we want to narrow this down to. Like, I love my flower arranging, right? going back to this metaphor of the flowering. But I really would like to focus on orchids. I mean, that is just the thing, and I have a feeling here that's what needs to happen. That's the next step here, to narrow down, and that's with the sun. It's like even more bringing the focus, Ace of Wands, the passionate focus upon what you love more than not just the flowers, but which flower. Because that is the thing that's going to lead you to your light and your abundance. And here we've got the Knight of Swords, another masculine sword energy, this clarity. And can you see here what's happened? The Prince of Swords here, which has a much darker kind of hue of colour, is moved on to the Prince of Swords. And in this particular reading right now, what I'm feeling is it's just like the energy is clarifying, is being clarified, it's being cleared, it's being cleansed. Something is being purified and cleared, and that's sitting right next to the Star card. The card of starlight, of purity, of wishes, of dreams, the antenna, the dream. The important thing with the Star card, especially in this deck, what it's telling us is to stay very grounded, because when the Star card goes into its shadow side, one can get kind of lost. One can get so illuminated and float off the ground, psychically, energetically. So there's a need to stay grounded, especially because this card is grounded by the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, which is the card, dear people, for Sagittarius. And we have in this reading also the Moon card. Okay? So if this, it's so beautiful, the synchronicity of this. I know you didn't see me shuffling these cards. When I do readings like this, I'm not going to shuffle them on the camera because I want time to reflect and look at this. But so, maybe some of you don't believe that this is truly how these cards came out, but I swear to God, I am not lying. I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart, so I do not shy away from difficulty. I even love it sometimes. I love the challenging reads, but this, honestly, this is not a challenging read. It's just pure flowing light and abundance and power in this reading. And the synchronicity with the moon it's astounding. So fortune, good fortune, moving forward, a balance of these different aspects in the wheel that's moving around, that's propelling us forward. It's a major arcana card. It's even bigger than you. You're being helped. You are being supported here because you've done some important work. Now, something that sometimes what we think, what we have a belief system, and we're kind of bred to think this, that in order for good things to come into our lives, we have to really, really, suffer and struggle. I think probably it's connected to, religion, Christianity, kind of misinterpretation of Christianity and how it's been used to make us feel that we have to suffer all the time to get anything good. What I'm seeing in this reading is, sometimes it's little things. It's little things, that little illumination of following something you love, a little hobby or a little habit, something you do in your house that you love. Just a little mundane thing that can bring the light of illumination. It can light up, has the power to transform. That feels for me one of the biggest messages of this reading. The Hermit, just shining the light on your difficult thoughts. You don't even need to go to psychotherapy 3 times a week necessarily. I'm not against it. I think everybody needs to go to therapy at some point in their lives. I really do. I believe in it. But that's not the message of this reading. The message of this reading is that, simple, small acts of a passionate will for positive change can create a huge, when maybe it's to do with the planets being in alignment, but sometimes, the message of the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Pentacles in this deck, both both of them speak of not having to do a lot of work, but having to tend tenderly, especially with this one. You know, this is a card that's saying something is growing here, so just take care of it. But you don't need to battle with it, with the thing that you're growing. There might be a battle with the patterns, the behavior patterns around you and your inner world that stop you allowing love and abundance to come into your life, for sure. But you do a bit of that work and suddenly you feel things opening up, and you allow the universe to come in and propel you forward into your dreams that you once didn't really believe could be possible. But with the Wheel of Fortune and the Star card together, and I'm even thinking it could be to do with the Star and the Wheel of Fortune, it could be to do with something in the public eye, and the Sun as well, those three cards together, it could be to do with a public, becoming seen, becoming known, putting your idea, yourself into a public arena, and it just going, you know, becoming famous at something. And that could be, you know, who knows, you might be a teacher and go and do a conference, an educational conference somewhere, and have people saying, wow, that was an amazing thing that you just did. And then the Wheel of Fortune, then you get this feeling of, wow, that felt amazing. And it might be the thing that propels you on to the next thing. Now, I've also got the Moon in this card, and it can also be about new beginnings. In this deck, it talks of, actually, this is meant to represent the vagina, an opening, the feminine sexuality, and an opening into something new. It's like a birth canal. Something is being birthed, and that's about stepping into the unknown. So in this reading, we also have fear, and that marries well with the Nine of Swords in the unconscious position. There is fear here, and that's normal because change can be frightening. And often when you feel that fear, you know that something is changing, something big is happening. But what we can do is turn our fear into a doorway, right? Imagine your fear in a situation. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes fear is telling us, don't go there, don't do that. If there's a dark alley and you feel fear, I'm not telling you to go down a dark alley. Sometimes our fear can really be a primal signaling force to tell us not to do something. But in this situation, on this Sagittarius full moon, this moon card represents walking through our fear, which means stepping into something we don't know. This reading is about a new experience, a new enlightening, opening experience, which will always involve a rite of passage, a stepping into something that feels frightening because you don't know it yet. But this is big energy. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, we've got the Sun, the Moon, and the stars. We have got an alignment in this reading, an alignment of the Sun, the Moon, and the star. This is such powerful energy, and I'm telling you that for some of you, this full moon is really going to be powerful, and I'm feeling it in my throat, I'm feeling it in my chest, I'm feeling this opening energy, I'm feeling tearful. This is really astounding. Now, the last card that came up, which I've clarified as well, but it's the Princess of Cups. Now, some of you might be thinking, what, after all of those incredible cards, I just end up with that as a possible outcome card? Really? Like, it's kind of like an anticlimax. But it's seriously not. Because this, as a court card, represents somebody who has freed themselves from fear. and doubt. And that is what in this deck, the Princess of Cups is. That's what she represents. Being free of jealousy, being free of emotional burden. It's an opening up. It's a freedom from all of these burdens, right? And with this energy, you can move forward into anything. I don't know if you can really see her. That's her face there. That's her face there. This is her body, and she's holding this open shell, and she's got a swan above her head. It's really a very beautiful card with the lotus flower. Now, clarifying that, very interesting, very interesting. I don't normally I don't shuffle with reversals, but sometimes it happens and I leave them there. It always astounds me when they appear, because I'm like, I don't know how that happened. Do you know what was in reverse? Clarifying the Princess of Cups. The Three of Swords in reverse. So this is about somebody who has suffered. This is about somebody who has had their heart broken, and I'm guessing not just once or twice, 3 times or maybe more. That's followed by the Two of Swords in the upright position. So I feel like just moving inwards, trying to pull the focus in away from this heartbreak, with the knowledge of the heartbreak, yes, but not over mentalizing, going into this hermit energy to examine the heartbreak, the pain, and all of the trauma that has left you with. So we're going from the 3 reversed to the 2, and the next clarifying card was the Ace of Pentacles. And I feel right now that is the heart, that this heartbreak has led one back to the heart. 3, 2, 1 in reverse. Somebody has been led back to their heart, undefended, open, connected to your heart space, ready to move forward and to manifest with this Princess of Cups. And then the next card that came up, which was the final clarifying card, was the Ten of Pentacles. That is, and now we've got 2. We start with the Ten of Cups, which is the feeling and the relationship with the feeling of love and abundance. And we end with the Ten of Pentacles. This is going to be manifested in material reality. Whatever this dream is, this project is, this thing that you are wanted and longed for, it's possible. And that's my message to you. It's possible if you are able to follow some of the teachings that the tarot has brought to us here. Not me, the tarot, and whatever has been channeled through me. Your dream is possible. So what I invite you all to do is to connect with the energy of that Sagittarius full moon. And you may not be, able to do that directly on the day. You might come to this reading very late. But what my message is, even if you hear this message, I don't know, some other time, what I want to say is that the power and energy, I feel I'm going to bring the power and energy of this particular Sagittarius full moon. It's not going to be necessarily all easy, by the way. Sagittarius is the card of good fortune, of luck, of expansion, of exploration, of adventure, of travel, of mind opening, altering. They see, they can envision. Sagittarius energy is the vision, the ability to see and to expand and to journey into expansion. And that energy is present here and now. I'm channeling that. I feel it so strongly. So whenever you're seeing this reading, that energy is available to you at any time. There are a few other cards, but I'm not going to go into them because I just feel like there's enough here. So I'm going to say good night to you all, goodbye to you all with this beautiful full moon energy. It's not always easy. Big transformation, big change never is. Just keep listening and observing those voices in you that are stopping you from moving forward. Shine your light of awareness and consciousness on them and keep moving forward and keep following what you love with passion, with dedication, with focus, with power. And just watch, just watch how it grows. Sending you all so much love and light and blessings. Goodbye.